We'll need to sign in. Somebody left in here. Okay, we're down a little bit today, but this is just proof of why I had to turn in 50% F's and D's on this class for midterm. They don't show up to class. They expect them to make a good grade. They don't have it. Anyway, if anybody's in here that you haven't went over your test, we'll take a few minutes at the end of class and see if we can give you a grade on that test. I have said that I might. I've never said 100% that I would drop a low grade. I've said I might drop a low grade if we get 4 in. And but anyway, if you got 4 low grades, you can't drop them all. So at most I could drop is 1. We're starting a new chapter. It's an easy chapter. It won't give you a lot of heartache. It explains variable costing, which we've already done, as you'll see in a moment. Absorption costing is what you've always had. You took your product cost and your period cost. That was it. But here, under variable costing, we'll have some fixed and variable, where we didn't break it down here. And we'll have fixed and variable selling. So it's an easy concept. We should be able to practice a variable and an absorption costing before the class is over. All right, a quick check. Which method will produce the highest value for work in process and finished goods? All right. If you look at that answer, whoops, it will be absorption costing, the new one that we're learning. This is not cooperating with me. All right. Under unit cost production, here we may have direct materials for absorption costing and variable costing, but we will also have fixed manufacturing overhead. And you can see that unit cost under one is higher than the unit cost under the other. Okay, this is one we've always done, absorption costing. Variable is the new part. Now, variable costing, you'll see how you've already learned in a moment. Prepare income statements using both variable and absorption. All right, I want to show you a comparison to those. Now, here's the variable costing, and this is why I say you already know it. All right, you've got sales, all right, and then you've got variable cost of goods sold. Variable selling administrative gives you contribution margin less fixed costs. That's why you already know this. You had this on the last test. You had this income statement on the last test. The only thing now, and this thing probably won't write on here, the only thing now is you are breaking down this variable cost into 2 or 3 different items: cost of goods sold and selling, and fixed cost, and to fixed factory overhead and fixed selling administrative. Before, you had a one-liner. You had variable cost and you had fixed cost. But you have done this statement, haven't you? You've always done this statement ever since you had Chapter 2 in Principles of Accounting. Well, I'll take that back. That was a service business. Ever since you had Chapter 6 principal accounting, you started getting cost of goods sold, okay? And gross margin, less selling administrative, and you can break that down into variable fixed. But you've always done this income statement, absorption costing. And we're going to reconcile. Now, if we look at those income statements, what is your net operating income right here? What's the net operating income? 90. All right, is the sales the same on these two? What's the net operating income here? 120. There's a 30,000 difference in there. And that's fixed factory overhead deferred. You have an ending inventory of 5,000 units valued at $6, and that's your 30. 30 from 120 would leave you 90. That's a way of reconciling it. And they're trying to show you how it differs. Fixed manufacturing overhead is the 30,000. And that will make the difference in the 90 and the 120. Right, on this one, 80 and 50, 30,000 difference. All right, now we're going to do a quick problem. Let's turn to the end of chapter 6. If you're home and watching this, which there should be a bunch of you, if you're not in class and don't practice these problems, it has to hurt you come test time. Okay, I want you to turn over to page 267. No, 287, sorry, 287. All right, we got two exercises together here. Let's look at exercise 1 first. Ida is a family-owned company located in the village of, doesn't matter where. Anyway, the company produces a handcrafted musical instrument called a gamla, whatever, that is similar to a xylophone. Anyway, they're sold for $850. Selected data for the company's operation follow. All right. Units in beginning inventory, units produced, units sold, units in ending inventory, variable cost per unit, direct materials, direct labor, variable factory overhead, variable selling administrative, fixed cost per unit, excuse me, fixed manufacturing overhead, fixed selling administrative. Assume that the company uses absorption costing, compute the unit cost for one item. Assume that the company uses variable costing, compute the unit cost per item. All right, now if I can find this solution for you, go ahead and be reading that again and see if you can give me a cost, but I want to show you, excuse me, real quick, the solution anyhow. Okay, I want to show you this solution because you're going to need this for what I'm going to ask you to do. Under absorption cost, you take materials, labor, and variable overhead and fixed overhead, and you got unit product cost 700. But under the variable costing, now absorption, this is what we've always done. Now, under variable costing, we take materials and we take labor of 320 and we take overhead. So which is the only one we're leaving out? We're only leaving out which one? What's the difference between the two? Right, under absorption cost, in the old way, we counted fixed factory overhead. But under variable cost, we're not counting fixed factory overhead. Okay? All right. So what I want to do is exercise 2. Take a minute and see what you can do with exercise 2. Now, exercise 2, it says it takes 20 minutes. All right, you are better than 20 minutes. I'm giving you 10. 10 minutes to do exercise 2. That's the 2 income statements. I'm going to dig out some tests for some folks who work here. Everybody in here has seen their test, right? It's Greg and Anthony. You saw yours.
Yeah.
What's your last name?
Boss. Boss. Adam.
Ed. Okay. Got one of those mornings. Okay, I can't give you too much time, so all right, we got sales, cost of goods sold, gross margin, sales and administrative expenses, net operating income. Under absorption costing, how much? We're supposed to look back over this other one. How much fixed manufacturing overhead cost is included in the company's inventory at the end of the year? This is absorption that you have. Preparing the income statement for last year using variable cost. Okay, so let's just look at those. Now, we looked at all the cost up here, and we know that fixed is $240 a unit. Now, this has got to be your first question. Fixed factory overhead cost deferred in inventory equals 25 units, and in inventory times $240 is $6,000. Now, we had calculated that, I showed you the 240 up here. So $60,000 divided by 250 units is also the 240, which we have the 240 somewhere up here. Absorption costing, okay? Now, the second part was to do a variable cost and income statement. If you didn't get it finished, don't worry. We'll practice plenty more of these. Now, the information you have, sales 191,000. Now, hopefully that didn't change. Okay. Now, you can't take just cost of goods sold. You gotta take your variable cost and your variable sale administrative. 225 units. Now that's 460 and 20. Now, if we go up here and look, variable costing is the 460. Okay, that I had on the screen. Selling administrative, I don't know if I had that up there or not. I had the 460 given. Now, where the 20 came from, I don't know. Probably would have to take selling administrative of 24,500, 24,500 divided by the number of units to get to $20. So let's see if they did that down here somewhere. Do any of you all see where this $20 came from? Did they give it to you anywhere? Is it given? Caleb, where is it? All right, if we read on, we would have found it. Okay. But the main point is variable cost of goods sold and selling, contribution margin, fixed overhead, and then fixed salary. So it's just like we had before. Sales minus variable cost is contribution margin minus selling minus fixed would be net income. The only thing we're doing different, we're breaking the variable down into manufacturing and selling, and we're breaking the fixed down into manufacturing and selling. That's the only thing different about what you already learned in chapter 5. All right, let's continue with the textbook or a PowerPoint. If I can bring the PowerPoint back up. All right, I think we looked at this contribution, income statement. Again, your variable cost and your fixed cost. Absorption cost and income statement, you've always had it. Gross margin. Now you can break selling administrative down into variable or fixed. Well, if you know them, you don't even have to break them down, but here they did. And if we compare the two methods, net income here is 260. Absorption cost and net income is 230. And you have to find a difference in some cases. Fixed overhead costs related to inventory is of course $6. And we'll be looking at that later too, how to figure that out, okay? It all equals out in the long run. If you were using one of these methods or another, you're still going to have 350. All right, one period here, 120, here 260, here 230, and 90. But again, after a month or accounting period has went by, it smooths itself out that you have the same totals. All right, summary of key highlights. We have to practice those. All right, what is a segment? This chapter has segments in it. A segment is any part of activity of organization about which a manager seeks cost, revenue, or profit data. Here's an individual store, sales territory, service center. What segment are you looking for? There's two keys to building a segmented income statement: contribution margin and traceable fixed cost. Now, in your textbook, I'm trying to find out what makes sense here for you. We're somewhere on page 267 versus your textbook. And 268 are the segments: traceable and common fixed costs and the segment margin. Now, you can trace some costs directly to an activity, to a cost center, to a segment. We'll have to look at some of their ideals on segments. Okay. In the remainder of this chapter, we'll learn how to use contribution approach to construct income statements for business segments. These segment income statements are useful for analyzing profitability, making decisions, what have you. Well, we know that Walmart has a lot of departments. You have the automotive department. I guess the glasses are separate. Maybe the haircut and separate or leased out. But you have the clothing department. You have the food department. You can call those segments of Walmart. Or you might call a branch a segment of your business. Okay? But anyway, there's two keys to building segment. Traceable fixed costs should be separated from common fixed cost. All right? Now, I haven't forgot that I asked you all to bring in a problem today, the high-low method. I haven't forgotten that, and I'll take it up at the end of the period. That will be somewhat of a bonus on if I get it today, okay? If you've already emailed it to me, fine, or I'll take it up in class. Now, these bonuses, some of you know that it makes a difference in a letter grade. All right, traceable fixed costs arise because of the existence of a segment and would disappear over time if the segment itself disappeared. No computer division means no computer division manager. We'll see what they're getting at here. We still have a company president. Now, traceable costs can become, some of that did not make sense. Don't worry, hopefully it will later. It's important to realize that traceable fixed costs of one segment may be a common fixed cost of another. For example, the landing fee paid to land an airplane at an airport is traceable to that one flight, but it is not traceable to first class business and economy class in that airplane, the one that let down. Does that make sense? The landing fee is for everybody on the airplane, right? We can trace it to the whole plane, but we can't trace what part of it was for first class passenger or econo class passenger. Now we can take a ratio probably of how many people were in each class and break down that fee. All right, a segment margin, which is computed by subtracting the traceable fixed cost of a segment from its contribution margin, is the best gauge of the long-run profitability of a segment. Traceable and common fixed costs could be traced, or it's common to all of them. All right. Levels of segmented statements. Now, here's Weber Incorporated. You've got a computer division and you've got a TV division. Now, here's an income statement for the television. All right. And we simply have variable cost of goods sold, other variable costs, total variable costs, contribution margin, traceable fixed cost, division margin. All right? Cost of goods sold consists of all your variable manufacturing costs. All right? And fixed and variable costs are listed separately here. But that's another contribution margin income statement called absorption costing. But we're trying to look at fixed, traceable, and non-traceable, and they're not doing a good job yet on these transparencies. Okay, you've got the company, and you've got the television and the computer. All right, traceable costs can become common cost. Now, even when you get to the TV, you got normal screen and big screen, product lines, which could be segments. And we can trace fixed costs to the normal TV into the big TV. Right? And we got common fixed cost. We have to combine these and take the common fixed cost. It has to come out before you get net income or division margin. All right, common fixed cost or common cost is $10,000. Now, when you combine here, these won't let me mark on them, but if you combine the 200 and the 100, you get to 300, of course, 55 and 95, 150. But everything's okay, traceable fixed cost. Now we got a product line margin, 60 plus 10 is 70. But we got this common cost that goes along with both types of TVs before you get to the divisional final margin. Or okay, that'll be operating income for that division. All right, once again, segment income statement, sales, variable costs, contribution margin, traceable fixed costs. In this company, you have common cost of 15, which gives you a whole divisional margin of 62.5. All right. This is additional advertising, which was simply common fixed cost. The value chain should be is that a marketing term? Should be a marketing term, value chain. Cost assigned to a segment should include all costs attributed to that segment from the company's entire value chain. All right, you got product design, factory, R&D, marketing, distribution, customer services. All right, there's no need to look at inappropriate methods. Common cost to segments. All right, here's another income statement with absorption costing variable costing. But you got traceable fixed costs, but you got common cost of 200,000. How much of the company's fixed cost of 200,000 can be avoided by eliminating the bar? All right. All right, we got a restaurant here, I guess, don't we? We got a bar. We got the restaurant. Okay. Now, if we eliminate this bar, we'd eliminate 26,000, right? Of traceable fixed cost. But how about this common cost of 200,000? If we eliminate the bar, what would be one of the three answers that would be appropriate? How much of the common fixed cost would have to have a method? You know, probably we could eliminate some of it, I don't know about all of it or none of it. That's like always and never. But it says none of it. Now, why? Because fixed costs are fixed, aren't they? We should have known that from everything else we said about fixed costs. Fixed costs are fixed no matter what. So if we eliminate the bar, you still got the common fixed cost. That might be insurance on the whole property. That might be depreciation on the whole property. It goes on. Suppose square feet is used to allocate fixed cost. How much will be allocated to the bar if the bar occupies 1,000 square feet and if the restaurant 9,000 square feet? Well, we know that adds up to 10. That'd be 1/10 and 9/10. Well, we can go back and look at, how much is the common fixed cost? 200,000. What is 1/10 of 200,000? All right, but probably answer A. All right, but I don't know what fixed cost you'll be getting rid of, even at 20,000. Maybe there'd be less cleaning, less fixed wages, less something. Okay, now if you look at the bar here at 6,000 loss and the restaurant at profit, you'd all of a sudden look at that bar and want to eliminate it, wouldn't you? You see, Walmart might want to eliminate the automotive part of Walmart, or they may want to eliminate the sporting section of Walmart, or the clothing section, or the food section. But here, you'll just look at that and say, we're going to eliminate the bar, wouldn't you? Save $6,000. Not so. Is the bar paying a lot of this 200,000 common cost? Now here we're saying the bar's paying 20,000 of that common cost, right? And the restaurant's paying 180. So if you eliminated, you'd lose $6,000. Should the bar be eliminated? Think in your mind, yes or no. All right. Because if you eliminate the bar, it'd probably be 30,000 for the restaurant instead of 50,000. All right. Probably because you got to soak up this common cost. So you don't go around. And some stores like Walmart, if it's just one item, they may take a loss on a whole department to get you to come into the store, right? They'll put that department or item in the back of the store, so you got to walk through the whole store. That's just probably a marketing strategy. But this goes back to things we've said before. Why would a company want to stay in business and break even? Because if you don't stay in business, you may still have to pay the insurance, take the depreciation, pay for security guards, electricity, or whatever. All right. That's all that's in that chapter. It's not a tough chapter. I want you to read it for Thursday. We'll look at it better Thursday. I want you to work a couple of exercises to get us try to work exercise 4, 5, 6, and 7. Try to work exercise 4, 5, 6, 7. So that will get us acquainted. Now, please bring out your problem on the high-low method. Okay? We need to look at that. Okay, now Mark, what problem was this?
584.
Okay, without looking at that, maybe two or three of you at work that will agree, what was the high and the low in units?
82.
8,000 or $2 or
$8, or just 8 units and 2 units.
just 8 units and 2 units?
Yes.
Well, those easy numbers. All right, that's units. Now, what was the dollars?
It's 2,700 and 1,200.
The difference is 6 and
1,500.
if you divide, you get,
250.
which is the variable cost per unit?
Yeah.
All right, if we plug it into the 8, 250 times 8.
2,000.
All right. Now, how about 250 times 2?
500.
If you subtract 2,000 from this, what do you get?
700.
If you subtract 500 from this, what do you get?
700.
So your fixed cost is,
700.
and your variable cost is?
250.
All right, let me take those real quick. You got your assignment. I'm gonna let you all go today. I'm gonna keep 3 or 4 of you that need to look at your tickets.
So if you email it to you, so that's
Yeah, okay, 585 was, high low 2 was.
yeah.
Okay.
So let's just email it to you.
Two easy problems, about 4 minutes apiece. But if you don't have 8 minutes today to work these problems, then your grade is a bit lower. I don't want them now, you don't have ready right now. Okay, jot them down in class and turn them in. Okay, you are dismissed. I need to go over some papers with those who weren't here Thursday.
So we had this class to email that to you.
Huh?
You said, then you said we can email this to you what, by the end of the day?
No, I didn't say that.
Or were you talking to the people that watched it online? You did say it. You can ask the girl. You might have been talking to the people
You know, if you want to email it to me at the end of the day, I'll take it. There's 2 of them.
All
I'll
right,
take
that's
it.
fine.
Anthony, stay here a minute.
Have you done?
You too, Mark. Adam, come on up here. Okay, I'll do well on this. Now, I've graded the first 3, they're 8 points apiece. Now, if you're looking at your paper, you may have 2 X's on it. But I only took off, I'm only gonna, the middle one, I'm not gonna count. If you got an X on the middle, I'm not gonna have 8 points. Right, I'm not gonna take that 8 points off, just 1. Now, why? You probably could have worked it, or you could have asked me. When I gave the test back to class that day, I gave them a chance to work it. Secretary had left off the instructions, one of the equivalent units for conversion cost. And that's all the information you had. So you should have known it was equivalent units for conversion cost. But that answer was, and I think Greg or somebody got it right without having that information, but the answer was D, 55,800.
That's crazy. So, I erased it.
But I'm not taking off. Yeah, I'm not taking off anyway. So,
That's crazy.
so guys, you may have gained on that one. I don't know. Okay, now let's look at the next one, which is 20 points. 5 points an answer. That's number 2, I guess, right?
Yes. So, 4 in it. That's four, right?
What are you talking about?
Oh, this.
Yeah, number 4, you're right. Sorry about that. Number 4. All right, find A, B, C, and D for number 4. All right, Greg, what is your A answer for number 4? What's your answer?
I have for the
4A.
for the materials and the conversion.
Yeah.
I got units transferred, 13,300. Conversion 13,300. Materials 50. Conversion 30. I got this one.
Oh, I need your final answer, Greg. Let's see what it looks like. I guess I already got an answer. It's on that one. So of course I created something different. 330 is right. You got half of that one right. So just a -2 instead of 5.
How was it?
Wait, hold on. What,
I got
wait, what part?
360. So what did you get?
13,380.
Oh,
What the-
wait a minute. Hold on a minute. There's 2 answers.
Yeah.
13,350 and 13,330. 13,330 and 13,350.
So this one's 13.
Greg, you have one of them, right? That's why I'm only gonna take off 2.
Oh, I got 13.
It'll be 13,350 and 13,300. You get each one of them.
I don't know.
-5.
Yeah, I didn't-
-5. Now, if you didn't get those, I don't know if you could got B or not.
And,
B, round it, Greg, what do you have for B, Paul?
2030 and
No, B part.
what's this thing?
It's $1, okay. It's $1 amount. Okay, I gave you that one too. You got 2.3. And since you missed the other one, you're gonna miss the 27. Oh, you got the 27.5.
That's what I think I wrote it wrong.
Yeah, okay. Now up here, you should have got that one too. You did, you probably did, but you wrote it wrong.
Yeah.
All right, so Greg got both of those. The answers were 2.3 and 27.5. So -5 if you miss B part. Now let's look at C part. Greg may have this one too. What's your dollar amount for materials, Greg? 30,000? I didn't get a look at that.
I ain't giving 30,000.
It's 30,530 and 365,750. No,
Yeah.
yeah, you didn't take that. 30,000. 530. All right, I'm just gonna take -2 off D part because you brought one of those answers down there. Okay, C part is 30,530, 365,750. Now, D part was just $115 and 825.
you said C part was what? What's the-
D is,
C.
okay, C is 30,530, 365,750. D is 115 and then 825. Now, you got,
I put my D. I put my C.
you got your D and C's reversed.
Yeah.
Okay, Craig, I want to give you all of those, okay? The check, C and D. You only missed 2 on that problem. Okay,
So if you missed that first one, you really messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
you didn't get that first.
I messed up about 30.
Because that's why I kept saying it's important to know equipment units. All right, number 5. Now, the rest of these are 8 points apiece. Number 5 was 16,300. You got that now, didn't you?
That income, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Final answer, 16,300. Did you get that? Did you get that, Anthony?
No. It's
Minus
number 5,
8.
right?
Okay, now number 6. The answer is $3,500. Your income,
35, yeah, got that.
your income would increase 3,500.
That's plus 8, right? Or do I don't just
So
leave it
minus
blank?
8 if you didn't get it. Adam, did you get that? You had to practice an income statement. Now, number 7, 273,600 units, break even. 273,600. Did you get that correct? Number 7, 273,600.
Minus, you said all these are -8, right?
Minus 8, yeah, everyone. Now this is break even, guys. Let's see.
I think I messed up the whole problem.
So what you had to do to number 7, guys, you had to find the contribution margin ratio of 56%. Then you divide, that's sales minus variable cost. You divide that decimal 56 into 153,215 fixed costs. That automatically gives you sales by dollar, 273,600. Now, number 8, the railway, $4,330. That's just plain old break even, 43.30.
I got 49.30. I don't know.
Well, it probably is 49.30.
Yeah,
I'm looking at this
49,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah, 49.30 is right. Okay, number 9 is 4,200. On a target profit, so you gotta produce 4,200 units. Should have got that. Anthony?
I'm missing all these by like a couple dollars.
Adam, you got that, did you?
No, sir.
4,200?
Somehow I got 100.
All right, see, if you got number 8, you should have got number 9, because you're just adding profit on to. No, well, we gotta move on. Number 10 is 18%. I'll take it close to that. If it's rounded, I'll take 17 point something. All right, number 11. I'm looking at the other student, but I can't read this either. I know one of it's 23.22, 3 or 9 or something, decimal 74. Let's look at number 11, folks. I may have to look it up. See if I can read it on somebody else's paper. I can't his. It's 9.69, number 11. I'll also take, let's see, 3%, let's see. No, his don't make sense either. Adam, what have you got for number 11?
9.69 for A.
About a B part.
1.12% increase.
So you had to multiply what you got at the beginning for by 3. I'll give you half of that, that's take off -2. What do you have number 11? -8. How about yours, Anthony? Okay, guys. You've got 10 problems, -8, that's 80. And you got one problem that was 20, that's 100.
Which one was 20?
The 4-part one that was 5, A, B, C, D.
Oh, okay, I got it. 11 and 12, you only had to do